In other news, the state's benchmark state capture case, through which it's seeking the extradition of two Gupta brothers, could be at risk.
Yeah, that's after serious misgivings about the Hawks investigation and financial analysis were revealed. Now, the acting judge declined a postponement request yesterday. The state wants to call a witness who was in South Africa at the start of the trial, but has since returned to Nigeria. Let's get you an update now from Erin Bates, who has been tracking this story, this case, since it began. Erin, good morning. Great to see you. The witness the state wants to call will testify apparently on Deloitte's work, but if memory serves, we've already had testimony on that.
Michelle, great to see you and Ayanda too, and your memory is pat on. We have already had some evidence from two Deloitte representatives who've testified on the work that firm did on this high-level due diligence report. This is the report which the Free State government paid the allegedly Gupta-linked Nulane Investments to produce. The Free State government paid 24.9 million rand for it, and Nulane paid Deloitte 1.5 million rand for it, pocketing the difference. We've already heard that markup, you could say, in itself isn't necessarily an indication of fraud, but that is the state's case, that there was effectively collusion here between three former Free State government officials now and three alleged close associates or business aides to the Gupta family. Michelle, you, Ayanda, and our team have been talking about the budget speech coming up today. Of course, this case is about government expenditure at a provincial level, and not just a figure of 25-odd million rand. This was the precursor to the Estina Dairy project or scam, which cost in excess of 280 million rand. So the issue of government expenditure coming up here, and this case does bring to the forefront issues of the state and law enforcement agencies in South Africa bringing alleged corrupt officials and people in the business sector to book. That dovetails with issues around the grey listing of South Africa over what measures we have in place to deal with improper expenditure, fraud, money laundering, and so on.
Erin, there was also a figure of 18 million rand that the court heard about, a payment from Atul Gupta to another company, Pragat, is it? You'll correct me on the pronunciation. But the company that this case is about is Nulane. So what is the connection there?
Precisely. We think it's Pragat, Michelle, but much like Nulane, Nulane, it's all a bit of a mystery as to which pronunciation is the correct one. But the link there is interesting. As you say, this payment from Atul Gupta into the account for Pragat, which is in the business group for the Gupta's companies at ABSA, although a lawyer here for one of the Gupta associates says that they didn't really know what Pragat was doing, except that the director of Pragat was involved in other Gupta businesses and was a trusted person. They think it was a BEE company. The person who was the director is an Indian South African who qualified for BEE perks, you could say, or benefits. But beyond that, they don't know its business. So goes the version of Mike Helen, senior counsel for Veronica Raghavan. But Pragat receives this 18 million rand from Atul Gupta in 2010. Now, the time at issue here in the Free State government matter is 2011-2012, but the state's case is that allegedly laundered money from this contract for the Nulane Investments high-level due diligence or feasibility report made its way into the Gupta business web. And so the link there is that Nulane Investments makes payments to Islandsight, which is in the Gupta's business group, and there are dealings between Islandsight and Pragat within the Gupta's business group of ABSA accounts in a cash focus group, which is an online banking service. And so that's how one of those Gupta brothers, who's now facing extradition, is drawn into the fray. Although we've heard from Helens that there is proper documentation for various intercompany loans and transfers. Documents including ledgers reflect deposits, including loan repayments, and all of this was above board. The other argument there, Michelle, is that if this was indeed money laundering and the Guptas and or their associates were trying to hide things, they wouldn't put it all down on paperwork and have documentation, a paper trail on record.
About to say, that really is the hallmark of money laundering, isn't it? Not putting it down on paper, but having that sort of web of payments made to different companies. Erin Bates, let's thank you for your time this morning. She's live to us there at the High Court in the Free State. Is that right? Yes. Erin Bates, thanks very much indeed. That case continues, and of course, Erin is keeping her hands on all of the moving parts.